let's sit down and let's get started. Hello, 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 everyone. I'm back once again with another art stream. It's time for arts, it's time for streams, it's time for both of those things. Welcome back. I am still working on character cleanups for this next part of Eldritchrune because due to work things are going to get a little bit tricky in terms of getting this one finished. Basically, hello, thank you for coming. I hope that you're doing well. Hello, thank you for coming. Page is sliding away from me. Oh, we're flying away. But basically, I didn't want to say usually in terms of getting comics done with my work schedule is that with my storyboards, I usually have like, I have a set schedule for weeks to get the board done. I'm usually pretty good at getting the board done early, and then in those off weeks in between when I finish and when my next board starts, I have some time, and I usually do a lot of work on Eldritchrune during those times. But unfortunately, due to the shakeup we had at work, once I finish with the current board I'm on, I'm not going to have any downtime because I really need to help out the rest of the department on the giant backlog of revisions and stuff we all got to do. Like, there's just a lot of that to do. So, I am not going to have that downtime to work on Eldritchrune for this episode. I'm obviously going to try and keep working on it and extra things, like, on my nights and weekends when I can. But this is probably means it's going to come out a lot slower than usual. Because I've got to help with all the crap going on at work. I thought someone was sleeping with me. Oh, did you have a sleep paralysis demon? I've had those. Those are scary. Already posted comic? No, I'm still working on this one. That's what we're working on today. And we're still working on getting this one done. This is a long one. This is a two-parter. Yeah, I saw the demo for Cooking with Kindness, and honestly, I was like, I couldn't figure out what I was going to play next week for Friend Powered Friday Nights. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I think I'll try that. So we might do the Cooking with Kindness demo this coming Friday, because I wanted to play that, because it looks really cute. Well, the thing is, with the sleep paralysis demon, you don't always see them. But you do kind of, like, feel them. That's how it is with me. I feel like somebody else is in the room with me. Like, I feel their presence. And, like, it hasn't happened to me very often. But, like, maybe 3 or 4 times. But, I don't like it. It never feels comforting. It feels like a scary presence in my room. I've not had that for a while, but, very not fun. I don't like them. Did I finish TS Underswap? Yes. I've caught up with, where we are in TS Underswap. Credits rolled, so we would need to wait for more. Assuming more is coming. I hope it is, because I really enjoyed TS Underswap, and I thought that was very well made. So I hope we get more, but if we don't, I'm happy with what we got. We got really good stuff. Oh, Gaster was your sleep paralysis demon. Gaster, no! He would do that, wouldn't he? Hope you don't mind me being here. How wonderful that we need sleep in this way. I hate sleep paralysis demons. They suck. I don't like them. I always have, like, this distinct impression that, like, they're in bed with me kind of thing. I don't like it. And then as soon as I start able to move again, I wake up and they're gone. Yeah. Oh no, I hate that. Oh no. I did have some weird dreams last night. I drew, like, part of it in my little dream journal thing. I've been trying to get back into waking up drawings where I draw first thing in the morning. Oftentimes, if I have a dream, then I will try and draw something from the dream. I'm spending a little less time on it than I used to, but I'm filling up my pages with it. Also, thank you for the watch streak. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of watch streaks. Thank you. Green Gaster cannon. That's so scary, though, that Gaster was your sleep paralysis demon. He would do that. He would be a meanie that way. Or it's just like, no, I just think you're fascinating, player. I just think you're neat. I just think they're neat. So things seem to be deteriorating. Yeah, I haven't really had, like, Deltarune dreams, which is weird because, like, I think about Deltarune, like, 90% of my day. Maybe that's why my brain is like, you thought about Deltarune all day. We're not doing Deltarune tonight. Think about something else. But I don't really have many Deltarune dreams. There are always, like, other things going on. Oh, what meme of Chris standing at the end of an alley? I don't remember that. I don't recall. Also, I just did this on the wrong layer, didn't I? Okay, back to the correct layer. Well, I was talking to Blue Dino, said that he had Gaster in a dream. Or they had Gaster in a dream. It's a meme where there was just mostly blank Cyber City alley going vertically and Chris was standing there. I don't remember this meme at all. What is this from? I guess I'm not up to date with all of the Deltarune memes, for better or worse. Weird dreams. I think there was something kind of like Pokemon related in my dream that I had last night. But it definitely wasn't like normal Pokemon. Pre-chapters 3 and 4 meme. Okay. I'm sure they've come and gone over time. I'll be kind of glad when we're done with Always Bet on Papyrus Night, although I'm sure that will endure long after the end of everything. Blue Gaster. Let's get the Gaster Rangers. Get a Gasters in every color. The Gaster Rangers. Everything is still my apart room. Oh, that's so weird. He visited you. Are you enjoying my Deltarune? Please tell me you're enjoying my Deltarune. It's very important to me. I showed up in person to ask. It goes hard considering it's all of like 4 notes, which then everybody thinks like, does this have the Gaster theme in it? And it's like, well, statistically, probably not. It's pretty easy to put like, 4 chords and everything. Yeah, a very basic arpeggio too. I'm pretty sure Super Sentai is still going in some way, right? That's one of those things that's kind of hard to get rid of. No, you're supposed to obey me, the 7 rainbow Gasters. Oh no, instead of like all the various Ralseis from Paper Trail, it's the Gasters. Rainbow Gasters versus Rainbow Ralseis. Who will triumph? Probably the Gasters. It's the freedom motif? I don't know about that. I mean, maybe? I give Deltarune 8 out of 10 Gasters. Well, that's sufficient. It seems like you liked it then. Name the fallen Gaster. You can't name him Gaster. You'll get kicked back to the screen. Super Sentai entered hiatus. Oh no. I'm sure it'll come back someday. A franchise that big. Can't keep him down forever. And hello. Thank you for coming. Chris is having a bad time of it, but at least they're no longer in the void. That's a plus. I wonder why they stopped doing it. You figure like something like a Super Sentai. That's gonna keep going for a while. Been around for decades. Gaster is the only viable name. You can't put in any other names except for Gaster. Susie Gaster and Chris Gaster and Timmy Gaster and Ralph say Gaster. Everybody's Gaster. Are there any other Gasters we should know about? Friend is Gaster. Forgotten Man is Gaster. Asgore is Gaster. We're all Gasters here in Gaster World. It's a Gaster's world. The more I say Gaster, the less it sounds like a word. Gresta, Asgurt, Grasset. And when everyone is Gaster, no one will be. Thank you, Gaster Syndrome. Oh yeah, I do know that Kamen Rider is it's got some series going right now. I have some friends that are into like Ultraman and Kamen Rider, I think are pretty big right now. So some of that genre is still kicking. I do hope we actually get to see Gaster in the game itself. I don't really want to fight him. I just want to see him. I just want to see what he looks like. And he can be like, please tell me if you like my game. I just think you're a really cool player. Like, this is kind of awkward, but, you know, that's how it be with game developers, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. If we didn't see him, then you know, that's the way it is, and that would suck a little bit because I would like to actually see him for once, but I can't understand that. And is he Mystery Man? We'll never know. Oh, redeem struggle. Kid Chris is being a bad human, so I have to put them in air jail. I don't know what air jail is. What is air jail? Okay. Oh, okay, I see. Well, guess what? You're gonna break in the new page. Whoa! See if we can't draw that. Congrats on breaking in the new doodle page. Always hard not starting from the head. It's like this artist instinct. Yeah, still don't like that. I know, just flirt with us in person, Gaster. Come on. I'm sorry, I only feel comfortable talking to you through Twitter. I'm gonna give him dorky glasses. Because he is a dork. I want Asriel to be, 1, built like a fridge, and 2, a giant dork. Ambiguity is necessary for the Gaster flirting. Alright, come here. Haha, yes, it's almost like there's different words for head and stuff like that. You know, a little tongue out. They're like, eh. It works because Chris is puppy. This is what got them started on it. Now they're in air jail. I hope he's round, true. That's what I mean by built like a fridge. Gotta be big, gotta be a big dork. Oh, it's quite a small start there in the corner. I didn't realize I was drawing that small. Maybe we can make it a little bit bigger. There. It's hard to tell when you can't compare. There he is. They're in air jail. Woo. Alright, we're back to the thing. Thanks for breaking in the new page. Actually, I do wonder if it's Gaster doing the smile arg with us. Is that Gaster? Is that Forgotten Man? Or is the Forgotten Man Gaster? Or what's going on with that? Will we ever know? I hope we'll find out. Yes, all the dreamers need to be built like fridges, and that's why part of why Chris feels left out, because they're skinny human. I'm like, gosh darn it, I need to eat more pie and get larger. And get the horns. Or like Alfie's round. That's you right now, Alfie's. You're so round. A big old pancake up on your hammock. Excuse me. Ooh. Asriel's built. No, I want him to be large. I don't want him to be a rail. I mean, I guess it could work. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is. He is like Beanpole and Growthspurt. It does work there. I don't know. Pole. What would you prefer? Beanpole rail Asriel or big thick fridge Asriel? When we see him, what's your preference? Oh, thank you, Toby. As long as you've got Toby on the phone, can you tell him? Can you ask him when Chapter 5 is coming out? I'm getting anxious. I want to know. I need to put in holiday hours or vacation hours if it's happening. Need him to be skinnier than Des. Well, that's the problem. You could also get like large Des. Oh my goodness! Ah. Dang it, Toby! No! That is true. I really do like Bisxia's take on Des, where she's big. I can accept skinny twink Asriel if Des is big. But at least one of them needs to be that way. It would be kind of nice to see. Well, I guess no, it says Susie's also large. I say we need more large women, but Susie's the main character, and she's also built like a tank. I always admire people that draw Susie where she show shapes. It's the best way I can describe it, where she's got like this big hulking shape. I'm like, yes, you got it. You got her. Yay. I feel like I probably make her a little bit too normal looking. Oh, I loved Gameoverse. I watched that as soon as it was out because I have some friends who are working on it. And I want to support their work because they said they're really enjoying it. And I saw the pilot and I was like, wow, this is super fun. And I like the premise. I'm curious to see where it's going to go. And the style is different. And I like the characters. So, screw the haters. I'm liking it so far. Back at the screenshot, they seem wider on the hips. Equally, death does get shorter up the neck. Well, if we're looking at the flashback scene from chapter 3, I don't know if that'll count because, like, that's when they're younger. I'm kind of thinking more when they're teenagers. I assume, that, Oop. I assume that Death vanished when she was a teenager. Or Eggman. Yeah, again, I do like the setup of Gameoverse. It's fun, interesting premise. Well, if they have a thing against Ego Raptor, like, who cares? People are going to be bitter and stuff about it. I don't really care about people's personal vendettas against a celebrity that they don't like. Especially since ain't nothing wrong with Ego Raptor as far as I know. Yeah, that is our only visual right now for them. Which is why I hope we'll get more visuals in the future. Please let us see them. Well, again, like I said on that ask, the point of the helping the villains win is not, oh, we want to help the villains win. It's, oh, make sure the narrative doesn't finish, because once the game is completed, then the game is over, and the game world ends. Hence, Gameoverse. Game over. Gameoverse. So, moral quandaries. That's the fun. That's the premise. We love us a fun moral quandary premise. Oh yeah, Kit's fun. I wonder how many people actually get the pun name with Kit and Caboodle. Took me a little bit because I missed that her name was Kit, and then I was like, his name is Caboodle? Oh, Kit and Caboodle. Ha 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 ha. Kind of Banjo-Kazooie, you know. Another one. Oh my goodness. What's the doodle request? Are we going more Ratchet and Clank? Yeah, I can see that actually. That Ratchet and Clank's probably more accurate. What did you want for your doodle request? Please let me know. Minokawa using shadow magic. That might we'll see how complicated that is. That might be a little bit complicated for a request. How about that's going to be a little bit complicated, I think. Like a fight scene is a bit much for a 2-minute doodle. Let's tone that down a little bit. I can have her like using magic. If she's just using magic, then I can do that. Oh yeah, that is true. Mega Man style. She also has a very Mega Man look, so it's kind of a Ratchet and Clank style Mega Man kind of mix up there, which is fun. Okay. I'll see if I can do that. We already got the beach episode. I'm glad Flapper was able to join. I'm sure people are probably annoyed by Flapper, but I'm like, yay, like an Echo the Dolphin guy, yay! Big buff dolphin. Oh, if it's your OCs, you can put in whatever stuff you want for that. That's what makes it fun. This might be a waist up only kind of deal. We'll see. Oh, good grief. Please keep in mind, proportions are quite bad for characters that I have not drawn before. And I'm not doing any undersketches with. There's no chill. Well, robot. Point out, it's interesting to have sort of a two-kid ear. Yeah. Yeah, that is interesting, because I guess Gobbles, the impression I got was like, oh, is this like kind of like a learning game? Like kind of those games I used to play when I was younger, wherein, I don't know, like the point is, you know, and then, you know, like almost like a, good grief, what am I thinking of? Like those jumpstart games with like, you know, putt-putt or whatever. All ages Mario stuff. Yeah, humongous entertainment, like, yeah, like Gobbles kind of reminds me of like a putt-putt kind of character. Definitely styled after humongous entertainment, yeah. Robot versus witch and stuff. UI is too much like witch games? I'm guessing that like Flapper's game was kind of like a Mario Sunshine kind of deal going on. Fleshy sound. Squeak. Pretty standardized UI. I don't know what HE Games is. Humongous Entertainment. I don't know, the impression I got is that Gobbles is from like a you know, learning entertainment style game, whereas Flappers is more like an actual action game for kids. Alright, there you go. It's just a big squeeze hug. Whee! Oh, the hat looks more like a witch's hat to me. Oh well. Thank you for helping me fill out the doodle page. Yeah, not exactly platformer, but like Flapper's moves are like, you know, action based and oh, I mean Uriel's hat. Okay, sorry. Chris just had a time of it. See how much I can get done before I gotta do my stretch break. Yeah, 8 and kids up. Yeah, kids games again seems like a Mega Man, Ratchet and Clank kind of thing. I mean, the whole opening is like, you know, they're fighting the villain, and the villain's like, I'm gonna just chew up my companion to bits, and that will, you know, cause us to do our little combine our powers thing. That's a little bit little bit much for a kid's game. Maybe that's a 12 and up category. I don't know. Also, I was trying to work out, so was misinformation, was that Gobble's main villain? Was that enemy? Because I feel like, you know, if Gobbles is like, oh, I'm a learnosaurus, I'm supposed to learn things, then misinformation, that's a pretty good villain for the learning game. Yeah, I guess maybe if it was supposed to be like a 16-bit game, then you wouldn't actually see, oh, I'm like chewing up my partner kind of thing. Not as graphic. Kermagan? I don't remember that. Yeah. I'm horrified. That was pretty cool. Edutainment is really good, honestly. I have like really fond memories of edutainment games I played when I was younger. It's hard to make a good edutainment game. He's the caveman. Huh. Okay, I don't remember the caveman. I have to go back and rewatch. Alright, while Chris is lying there in horror, I gotta take my stretch break. Stretch break time. Kerr Magnet in the trailer. Okay, huh. Interesting, because I would have thought misinformation would be the villain of a learning game, but maybe not. I'm a little sad that the shark boss got killed, because I'm like, yay, shark, yay! Oh no, he died, no. I guess that is the point, is, prove the stakes of it. I like Gobbles, he's cute. Oh, I gotta watch the trailer again, showed Gobbles World. Also, I did not pick up on this until I kind of saw it mentioned in the comments later. But, like, the paper that Kit has at the start when she's fighting off Lulu and them, I thought that was like a photo of, her friends or whatever to motivate her. And then later, somebody pointed out, oh, that paper is probably Fold, telling her how to beat the boss. And I was like, oh, you're probably right. That's crazy. So she already got fooled by Fold. Into how to beat the boss. Don't cheat at games, kids, or the world will blow up. And also, hello, thank you for coming. No worries about getting here when you get here. That's how it goes. This is a first episode style pilot or not. Yeah. I mean, I think this totally works as a pilot. I think it worked as a pilot just to introduce the concept of the show, and also like just as a first episode, because we get a bunch of important information in a pretty short amount of time about the characters. It feels pretty well paced, I think. Yeah, that's another question. I think this would lend itself well to world of the week, exploring different genres. Maybe some of those worlds you save where the villain wins, but then how do you deal with that? And then some of them, they lose. So how do they deal with that? Could get some real back and forth. I mean, it's a really good setup for ongoing conflict for a TV show. Like there's a corrupted version of an instruction manual tutorial helper. Maybe? I don't know if there's an indication that there's any corrupted things in the villain hideout. Ah, sheesh, my fingers are getting a little cold. Don't want that. Ugh. Yeah, Fold seems like, okay, I'm not sure what villain he would have been in a previous world, but his whole deal is like helping you out with hints and stuff. Alright, be right back for one more stretch, and etc. I'm back. Back in action. To draw guys. What are you yelling at me for, phone? Oh, so like an Osmosis Jones kind of thing going on. I still haven't actually seen the movie Osmosis Jones, but I am aware of its presence. It was kind of a big deal when it came out, I think. Yes, all the people like now on my Tumblr are asking me like, how does this fit in with Eldritchrune? How does this fit in with Undertale? And I'm like, well, I don't think they would actually work that way for various reasons, but for the sake of a crossover argument, you know. Yeah, I'm not sure, like, how do you win Animal Crossing, for example? There are some games that are just, like, constantly going and there is no end state. I guess the thing is, like, if there is no, you know, win condition, and it's just you gotta keep playing it, then you don't have to worry about those ones because they're not gonna end ever. Well, when's the next Nintendo Direct? You win Animal Crossing. He, you know, is a much better landlord than real life landlords. He doesn't charge interest. You can pay it back whenever you want. You can pay it back by, like, selling vegetables and catching bugs. And then you get your upgrades right away, and then again pay them back as you will. A live action adult dad while there was a show that was an animated kid. I guess different Osmosis Jones in a different human body? Something like that. Kara, are you the villain of this? I guess never fix up your island then, I guess. Never invite KK over. You will not get your cute little music. No! He's just a little raccoon guy, Tanuki guy. Does Kara believe their conscience will move on with you to the next one? Do they fully expect to die and expect you to take their will belief with you? Huh. I kind of guess it's more the latter. I mean, Kara was already pretty suicidal. If your goal was to end the world, I think they'd be like, sure, take me out too. I'm happy about that. That's fine. Like, I don't think they would really want to survive in that sense. They just kind of want to get rid of everything, including themselves. Not art. Yeah, it's not out of character for them to want that. So, I think they would be okay with the world ending, and even if that included themselves. The point is, you got to show them another way of like, no, we don't have to end the world. We can love each other instead. We can love each other. This is why I also don't really buy the whole, Eldritchrune is the next world we're supposed to move on to for Kara. I think Kara's like, nah, I'm out. I'm dipping. Go play another game without me in it. But isn't he just like a white blood cell? What did they exchange plasma or something? This is like cells at work. Which I did enjoy Cells at Work. That was a fun little show. Usually you can't get yeeted out of one body into another unless somebody does that on purpose through, like, you know, blood transfusion. Which did also happen in Cells at Work. Yeah, Cells at Work was pretty fun. It's the same kind of premise as Osmosis Jones in that it's about a little red blood cell who keeps getting lost in her duties of carrying around oxygen. And she frequently runs into a white blood cell who's kind of scary because he's like, you know, the security service and this kind of thing, but he's nice to her and all that stuff. And they fight off various things like an infection and, you know, parasite. They deal with cancer cells at one point. And then in the big finale, which I thought was kind of fun, basically the body suffers some kind of horrible injury with massive blood loss. And, like, everything's, you know, goes horribly wrong. All of a sudden, just like, you know, the world rips open and a ton of red blood soldiers are lost. And everything's kind of shutting down because of the massive blood loss. And, you know, the little character, I'm not bored, I'm just explaining it. And then, and the massive blood loss and this little blood cell's like, no, even though everything's freezing, I have to take the oxygen. I can't give up, I have to do it. And she's like dragging this crate of oxygen across the frozen waste of the body by herself. And she passes out, and then she wakes up again because she's saved by all these other new red blood cells. And they're like, they have a different accent and different outfits, and they're like, well, gosh, all of a sudden we found ourselves in this different body, and you guys are in trouble, so we're going to help you out. And that's a blood transfusion. The person got saved because they got a blood transfusion. So they got all this foreign blood in them. They're like, oh, we don't know how we got here, but we're going to help you. And so the body is saved. And I thought that was neat. Sorry for spoiling Cells at Work, but you should watch it anyway. It's fun. It's a fun show all on its own. So some of the things they fight, like the bacteria and, you know, viruses, are a little goofy, but that's part of the charm. Where if the person drawing someone's blood neglects to get rid of immune cells in the blood, it gets transfused. The donor's immune cells will attack the recipient's body. And that's not good. I mean, I guess that's the kind of the whole point, is that the cells are trained to attack things they don't recognize. They actually do deal with that in the show too. They talk about allergies, where like white blood cells could just get really confused in terms of like what they're supposed to be attacking and end up all tripping over themselves and hurting each other, and it's just a big mess. And I don't know what that is. They're called Heaven's Design Team. Oh, that's cute. That would be a cute show to watch. I always like kind of stories of, like, you know, heavenly things being like, how are we going to design the, you know, how are we going to do this animal? And then you get something crazy and weird. Because nature is crazy and weird. And I know that the reason why it's all crazy and weird is evolution, but it's still fun to assign some kind of, like, thought process to evolution, even if that's not how it actually works. Okay. I'm still on page 1, goodness. It goes nuts and attacks everything, including your own healthy cells. Ugh. So an autoimmune thing. Calm down, cells. Well, that's about a standard, you know, half season for anime. I think the last anime I watched was Free Run, which was, of course, pretty good. Well, I haven't seen anything new lately. I need to watch Witch Hat Aitler. I'm probably mispronouncing the actual name, but I keep hearing good things about that show and the manga for that matter. So, at some point, if I can figure out how, I should watch that one. Oh, it's not an autoimmune, it's an infection. Weird. You underestimate how long it takes me to binge watch things. I don't binge watch things. I will watch because the problem is I'm usually working on stuff. So if I want to actually sit and watch something, I need to not be doing something else at the same time. And that usually is only when I'm eating food. Like if I'm eating lunch or dinner. Which means I usually will consume a TV show in 10 to 15 minute intervals. So it will take me quite a while. Which I know is how they not really how places would prefer you to watch stuff, but it's what I do. Oh well, oh well. Means I'm never gonna run out of stuff to watch ever. Also, I think there's a text thing there. Text bubble. Ew. I'm curious about this comic. Oh yes, this one will be fun. Again, I wish I knew when it would come out because I would probably be further along in it by now, but unfortunately, gotta do work stuff, so it'll be out when it's out. It's nice I can at least make progress in these art streams. Get rid of my brother. Chris is kind of having a hard time. I see. I'm glad I don't have to deal with Spanish flu. Get your vaccines, kids. And adults. Get both of them. Well, I don't think I have to get any vaccines recently. I think I'm caught up. Alright, well, I hope you guys do like the comic when it's out. Even if it takes a while. I really hope at least that all this extra work we're doing at work will pay off by the time we're done. It's a lot of extra work. On top of the work we usually do. Yeah, actually, I gotta see if I gotta do extra vaccinations before I go to Italy. I'm not sure if they require anything extra aside from the usual flu and COVID and all that. I'll have to find out later in the year. Get back to drawing. At the very least, it should be the last comic where horrible things happen to Chris for a while. We've had a big string of horrible things happen to Chris comics. So I think this is the last one we'll be doing with those for quite a while. If we even do any other ones with horrible things happening to Chris, depending on if I add any other extra scenes based on the few that I know I do need to do for the comic before I get to the ending. We top it off with Chris being forced to eat Sir Strawman? No. I don't think they would have a problem with eating it anyway. I think they would just do it. I don't think that's a terrible thing to have happen. Ooh, those are some nice gifts. Cool. You got stuff to keep you busy for a while then. It's been a long time since I played The World Ends With You. Line going, trauma, 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 trauma. It's the trauma line. No, Susie would eat that too. She wouldn't care. I don't think they would care. They eat moss. They would do it. It does start in a beach episode, yes. Kind of more an underwater episode than beach. They don't spend much time on the beach. Ooh, new Yoshi. The problem is, aren't the Yoshi games usually like intended for a very young audience? I feel like they don't really experiment with Yoshi much outside of like the original, like, you know, Yoshi story, which is very young kid oriented. You applications, you. I had to do the census yesterday, which I kind of waffled over a little bit, but I did it. Oh, I did it. I gotta fill out some other tax things too. Shoot. But if I fill it out, then I won't have to pay money, so I should probably fill it out. Regular enough platformer, yeah. I don't know, they're trying to make the for even younger audience, so it's like a really easy platformer. How young do they expect you to go? Like, there's kind of a floor in terms of, you know, kid that can hold a controller and stuff like that. And World Ends With You is a good game. It's true. Alright, on to this. Oh, we gotta put the antlers on Noel. Get over here, antlers. Oh, my stream died. Say, don't spook me like that. My internet went out yesterday. That gave me a spook. Susie is mad. Susie Angie. She does not get along with Caddy. They aren't wearing a get-along shirt. Unless they get to a goal more messing around. Yeah, that sounds like it's for a very young audience. Hello? Oh, I got it. Drag it over. Yeah, that would be a little nice. Like, there are plenty of Yoshi fans, myself included, who would like to see a bit more of a older take. Like, it doesn't have to be, like, old or anything like that, but I figure out how our antlers go here. Like this. Close enough. What kind of vile our food would Chris not be okay with eating? French fry brown on the ground. Will I eat it? No, it's old and brown. Or however that goes. Hello, hello. Thank you for coming. We are still working on this part. Yeah, I guess I should try a Persona game at some point. I haven't done any of them. Yeah, I've heard Woolly World was good for Yoshi. So many basic Nintendo games I've never played. And I could, because I got a Switch now. But never enough time in the day! Like, at the very least, doing Friend Powered Friday Nights lets me play games I haven't played before. But then I mostly restrict that then to, mostly restrict that to things I can play on my PC. So that's easier to set up. I have played The World Ends With You. I haven't done the Neo one, but I have played The World Ends With You. Back when that first came out, actually. Corn smut. I know what corn smut is, but I don't think durians are that bad, from what I understand. the narrative. No, because the thing is, with the game, it's like, okay, as long as you reach the win condition, that's what causes the game to end. So if there is a win condition, which there is for FNAF, which is beat all 6 nights or whatever, then that finishes the game. So you can't have that win condition. Game of the year that year. I started the original Paper Mario, but I didn't finish it. My brother had to help me out a bunch because I was not very good at the timing for the battles. I mean, I would probably not enjoy durian because I'm an extremely picky eater, and like there are regular foods I don't like because I'm weird and picky. But like, if we're talking like Susie and Chris, I think they'll deal with it. Especially Susie, where people are like, "Will Susie eat this weird high-calorie food?" And it's like, yes. The answer is always yes. Yes, she would. What are you talking about? She ate a pine cone off the floor. She will eat your weird food that is actually food. She eats crumbs out of the toaster. She will eat a durian. Like... The only thing apparently she will not eat is the French fry on the ground. Exactly. She'll burn through the calories. It's fine. Will she eat the meal orb or whatever that weird joke thing was? Yes, she'll eat that. Just try and stop her. It's even worse if it's Eldritchrune Susie. She will eat that. It's like, I can get calories out of things you wouldn't believe. It is fun drawing angry face Susie. She do a snarl. Big snarl. Yeah, the actual challenge for Gameoverse is finding a game that does not have a clear win condition. And most games have some kind of weird win condition, so you'd probably have to really stretch to look for it. Big Noel. Honestly, probably the games that the problem is games that don't have a clear win condition are usually the ones that are the most harmful to you as a player, because then they're just hooking you into playing over and over and over again without stopping, and that's not healthy. Buy my season pass, child. Get your loot boxes. I guess MMOs will count as games that don't really have a win condition. Although in that sense, you'll already have a danger of the game world shutting off as long as, because, you know, if the servers go off, then, so does the game. The whole point where, like, dying MMO is its own, like, genre of horror game. Alright, see you later, and thanks for coming by. Appreciate you being here. Oh, I need to figure out when I'll take my stretch break again. Elfies, you're still up on the hammock. Still there. Basically lots of mobile games. Stuff that just sucks all the money and time out of you. Like that Pie-Cross game I got addicted to. I had to remove it from my phone because I was playing it way too much. Yeah. It is admittedly fun to see Susie panic about things. You're cute when you panic, Susie. Which would make her mad. Like, I'm not panicking, you're panicking. They are angry. I feel like all of the Eldritch beasts are difficult to tackle in some way, but something about Caddy specifically, very complicated. Oh. Now I forget where all of her eyes are on her head. Like in big chunks all over the place. I do hope we actually get Caddy and Jockington as, like, Dark World. Not necessarily, like, partners, because I don't think they'll be joining the party or anything. But just, present in a Dark World. I think that would be fun. I'm a little surprised it didn't happen in Chapter 4, but ah well, ah well. I'm sure they'll show up at some point, though it might, I don't know if it'll be next chapter or maybe Chapter 6. Alright, we'll go a little further, and then I gotta take my stretch break. A little bit further. What are we on? 6? Okay. We basically got 2.5 more pages left of this. E.R. Noelle is pretty difficult to draw too, so that's no small feat, mostly because of her crazy antlers. And her shaggy hair, which I feel like the shagginess of it changes every time I do it, but oh well. And her snout length, kind of hard to tell sometimes. Shorter or longer. The more complicated character design is, the more liable you are to get off model as you draw it in the future, which is why animation usually sticks with simpler character designs. Easier to do over and over. Ooh, that sounds like a yummy sandwich. Hope you have a good lunch. Yeah, it does depend on the view. Basically, if she turns her head, that's when things get a little weird. Yeah, the shaggy fur takes a while. Glitches that could end a game very quickly, like a Super Mario speedrun. That would be kind of funny to see if, like, they get went up against a speedrunner who's like, I'm gonna, like, screw your normal win conditions. I am win conditioning by playing Legend of Zelda first, going into this specific spot in Lost Woods. Then I'm gonna put in I'm gonna put in Paper Mario, get to this point in Paper Mario, enter this many steps in this spot under these conditions, wait so many seconds, and this will trigger the win condition for Paper Mario. That was such a wild speedrun. Oh my goodness, Floofy Magic Beard Rouse. Let's see. Let's see here. Everybody wants him to have his hat back. I'm pretty sure I've drawn this for like a... I'm gonna have to try and resist doing it like his Eldritchrune self. Yes, but those still have a win condition. You'd have to find a game without a win condition. You just basically keep playing forever. Like, you know, with Pokemon, it's, you know, reach the, you know, defeat the Elite Four and all that stuff. And get in the Pokemon Hall of Fame. Also, I guess if he's King Rouse, he should have a little crown. Crown on his hat. Yeah, oh no, Subway Surfers, that's what that would do them in. Full beard floof like Asgore's. Let me see. Oh, that's a pretty fluffy beard. Fighting games or racing games. That is true. Usually, like in a racing game, you don't have a boss to beat. You just have to, like, you know, probably win a circuit or something like that. Yeah, but basically it's not just winning one race, because then you have other races to do. It's if you, like, win a whole circuit. Like in Mario Kart, basically, like, I guess, winning all the cups. First one is a circuit, all circuits? Little magic thing. Wah! Yeah, I guess what happens if you don't have a strict hero character? What happens if you can pick your hero? How would you win Maniac Mansion? Can you only win with like one set of heroes? Do you have to use all the heroes? We're trying to soft lock our games. Oh no. I'll be honest, I think that's how the weird route's going to end. I think it's going to end in a soft lock. Alright, there we go. King Ralphie. He's got a big fluffy Asgore beard. Ah, come back. Alright, and this is actually where I need to take my stretch break. It's stretch break time. Stretch break time. Final boss was rubber banding. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. Get you to really do it. Really go for it. Ooh. OG Crash Racing. Oh, that's rough. The thing is, like, were those games around when, you know, they were getting you through your quarters, or are those console only? Because older games, yeah, those are how they get your quarters, but if we're past the arcade era, I guess it's kind of a holdover from the arcade era. Like, even having lives is kind of stupid in a lot of games because, like, again, the point of having lives is to, you know, get you to spend more quarters. Then you make progress and run out of lives and you have to start from the beginning all over again. Suffer like G did. That is true. I did used to rent video games when I was younger, or rather we would rent the console and the video game. We did not really have consoles growing up because my parents were not fond of video games. Like, you already spend a lot of time on the computer. Which is probably for the best. I ended up spending a lot of time outside instead, and I don't do that nowadays so much. I did play outside a bunch as a child. Yes, back in the 90s, I was in a famous TV show. No, back in the 90s, you could go to Blockbuster and you could rent an N64 or something like that, or Sega or whatever. So sometimes on a weekend where parents like, okay, we're gonna get you kids a special treat, we would go to the Blockbuster and we would rent out an N64 and like Mario Kart or something, Mario Kart 64, and we would get to play that over the weekend. And that was pretty cool. Because, again, we didn't have consoles until, like, I want to say I was in high school or something like that. Because, again, parents didn't really like them. But occasionally, they were like, okay, this is a special treat for the kids. You guys can rent a console for the weekend and play games this weekend kind of thing. As opposed to having them all the time. So, yes, you could, in fact, in the 90s and 2000s and stuff, go to your local Blockbuster and rent a game console. And the games to go with it. Oh no, internet dead zone. Yeah, you could definitely rent movies and stuff. I think you could also... Wait, could you rent music at a Blockbuster? Maybe. We had a really nice Blockbuster when I was growing up, and like you could go there and peruse all you wanted, get some movies for the weekend, and they were big old plastic clamshells. They sold like candy and popcorn there too. It was a whole deal. Yes, renting consoles. I know we could do it because we did it. Help me. That's a weird thing. That's a weirdness. Alright, I'll be right back for one more stretch and water and orange juice and stuff. Alright, I return. Woo-hoo. Here we go. Spock's chose apple. Yes, I gotta get my orange juice. Both because I like orange juice a lot, and also I'm taking my iron pill in the morning. And you take heavy amounts of iron, you need to take vitamin C with it, because that helps you absorb the iron better. So usually I just like have some orange juice with the iron pill, and that helps absorb the iron. And also I like orange juice. I'm in that weird condition where like I like to eat apples, but I do not like apple juice. And I do not like to eat oranges, but I do like to drink orange juice. Which is probably just pickiness working its way in again, but that's how it be. Orange juice is one of the best juices. Nom nom nom. Thank God I wasn't alive when Anita Bryant was around. I would have been in trouble. I've got to find a different juice. If Azrael was a trans woman, do you think personally think would be a good name for her? I don't know. What is there a? I'm not sure what a feminization would be of. As then again, she might not want Azrael anyway, so that's kind of a mix-up of Asgore and Toriel's names, so probably just a different name altogether. Flowey could work. Flowey is certainly not necessarily a masculine name. Although that would have connotations for us, the audience, for regular Azrael in Eldritchrune. Not the same connotations. Toriel. Is it normal for trans women to name themselves after their mom? I wouldn't think so, but maybe I'm wrong. Trans women, do you name yourself after your mom? Please let me know. I was like, man, if I could change my name, what would I change it to? I don't know. I hadn't thought about it. Just pick my legal name, my screen name. Everybody call me Lynx. No, that would cause problems. We want to keep the legal name and screen name separate, I think. Never mind. Post canceled. I mean, I guess that kind of depends on the relationship you have with your mom. If you've got a great relationship with your mom and, you know, admire her and she thinks it's cool too, then sure, name yourself after your mom. I don't know, I just feel like it'd be kind of awkward. Like, you wouldn't use Junior or anything. Would you just be like, you know, mom named Junior? What relationship is it called when you are attempting to become her? I don't know. I don't think even Freud has answers for that. It's kind of funny because usually people are like, I don't want to become my parents. And hell no. Like, is there a term for I want to be my parent? Rouse says Azrael has lots of similarities to Azrael. I hope we find out. I hope we find out soon. I'm guessing we might find out chapter 6. You have to call yourself Junior. That's true. Does Junior get used a lot for female names? It should. Think about what I would choose, and while that would happen on me being trans and having experience to realize that my mom starts the same letter as mine, wouldn't be entirely out of place. Interesting. I would not pick either of my parents' names if I changed my name. They are perfectly fine names, but they are also just not for me. My mom's name is especially funny because, like, her name is like, normal for a white woman, but at one point, she was an exchange student in Germany, and just because of how names are different there, her family, her host family in Germany, was expecting to get a black boy, not a white woman, because of how just the language differences between German and English. So make of that what you will. Unfortunately, your parents will rub off on you whether you want them to or not. For better or worse. Ashbury would be cool for an Outer Tail Transfem Asriel. That's a neat name. Yeah, Toguri. But you can't pronounce it Togor. It has to be Toguri. Via the text-to-speech. Named Hieronymus. Well, now we just have to, start naming people Hieronymus. Good grief, that sounds like, names for, this one family. I don't remember, which family this was. This was some celebrity family, because I did go to high school in Malibu, so there were some celebrity families there. But they named, all of their kids after gods, like Thor and stuff like that, and, it was very silly, but oh well, people can do what they want with their kids, I guess. Because of Halo. I don't think that Togor was Chris's dead name. Or Toguri. Thor, got any thunder I can borrow? Yeah, I'm sure the kids love that. It's hard picking names for yourself sometimes. It's hard picking them for characters, let alone you, a real life person. Yeah, I am never having a kid, because I don't want to. But I've always said if I did have a kid, if I had a boy, I would name them Hugo, because I like the name Hugo. And everybody's like, hey, Hugo. And I'm like, I like Hugo. I think that's a nice name. Hugo is Timmy's cat's name. No, it's not pronounced Toguri. That's just how it got pronounced in the text-to-speech for Toby when he was during the anniversary. Yeah, I don't have any nieces or nephews yet, but if my youngest brother eventually has kids, maybe I'll get a niece or a nephew or a nibbling. Or if my other brother adopts. I will be all over them nieces or nibblings when they happen, but who knows when or if they will happen. Adam Savage Mythbusters. Even if it's text-to-speech? Oh my goodness, that's a lot of siblings. That is many siblings. That is true, the QC does seem to have a lot of family members. Nope, I just got 2 siblings. Pretty standard. And heck, I think my parents only intended to have 2 kids. But, whatever operation they did on one of my parents did not go through. They had a 3rd kid, and they're like, okay, fine. We're doing this on the other parent, too, so that this is our last kid. Three's a good number. My mom had 2 siblings and my dad had 3 siblings, so that's about standard for them. Oh no. That's too bad. Was it like a miscarriage thing, or was it like one of those twins absorb the other kind of... Well, I probably shouldn't ask that. That's probably too much information. Sometimes you don't even know that kind of thing. Like, pregnancy and giving birth is such a fraught And honestly kind of dangerous thing that people kind of underplay. It's really difficult. I think people kind of underplay it just because it happens so often, but that doesn't make it any less difficult. Human body's like, we're gonna make this difficult. Maybe, I don't know. The problem is like, oftentimes our machines aren't much safer. For as messed up as, like, you know, natural human bodies are, they are remarkably efficient at what they do in some ways. Oh, okay, maybe it was the absorption thing. So I do know that happens sometimes with twins. Yeah, I guess it is safer for the mother, true. Either way, it's very difficult. Having a kid is difficult. Raising a kid is difficult. It's no wonder people mess it up so often. Especially since they don't really tell you much how to do it. They're just kind of like, good luck, bye. Or either they're like, oh, we're not going to tell you how it works, goodbye, or else going to be like, we're going to over-tell you how it works, and if you don't follow our instructions exactly, you have failed as a parent. Both are bad. That's why Susie Anki. Nobody's stopping you. Well, I don't think, like, defects are that common nowadays, especially because, like, just in today's day and age, if you have, like, you know, better air, better nutrition and all that stuff, that makes a big difference, I think, for that kind of thing. If you are not food secure, if you're malnourished, that's more likely to cause a problem. That's my Susie snack. You can't have that Susie snack. My parents had me way too young. Way too young. That my mom was like in her early 20s when she had me. And that caused a whole other set of issues. Which thankfully did not get as worse as they could have. But when I look back on that, when Mom described like having me as young as she did, I'm like, Mom, you were crazy. That's so young. You're crazy. I mean, I'm not surprised that happens because, like, just the environment they were raised in, like, you're really expected to have kids really young. So, like, that's not shocking. But yeah, basically the thing is, my mom, and I am not afraid to talk about this because my mom will also talk about this with her classes, with some of the stuff she used to teach. Basically, my mom had really severe postpartum depression after she had me. And like when I say severe, I mean it was dangerous to like both me and her. And I'm not at all surprised that she had this because basically, like, again, she had me really young, and then not very long after she had me, basically, like, she and my dad and me moved across the country to Boston because my dad was going to get his doctorate there. So they basically moved across the country with a newborn child. Their funds were, like, they didn't know anybody there. They were really far away from friends and family. And in the process of the move, all of their savings were basically wiped out. So they were basically in an entirely new situation. They didn't have their friends and family. were very suddenly poor. So tell my sad parent story. Maybe I should wait until after the ad or not. I don't know. Yeah. So it was a really tough situation. And of course, also, yeah, well, I used to live in Boston when I was a little kid. My brother was born there. I was a toddler at the time, so I didn't get that involved in things, but I did used to live in Boston. But, yeah, it was just an extremely stressful situation for my mom, so I'm not at all shocked she got stuff that bad. And honestly, like, the things that saved my life, at least according to my mom, were, one, the fact that, like, my dad is a genuinely good and kind man who, like, is sensitive and really, cared about her kind of stuff. He was overworked as well, doing graduate work and then having to take on a job and all that stuff. But even then, he's still trying to pitch in where he can. So the fact that, like, my dad was genuinely a good man, as opposed to, like, the kind of father who would have been like, I'm stoic, I don't want to care about your woman problems kind of thing. So that, and then also the fact that, like, we had some neighbors that were just, like, willing to, take care of me for a little while so my mom could get a break. So just, like, decent neighbors and a decent, like, parent, decent father probably saved my life. And I think the lesson from all of that is, like, it is so, so important to have a support network, to have, like, a community that you can rely on in times of, like, dire distress and stuff like that. Like, that makes all the difference in the world. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry. No, I feel pretty lucky. I feel pretty lucky that like, of course things were not perfect. My parents certainly were not perfect. And we've talked a little bit about, like, hey, I don't think it was a good thing that you did. And they'll usually agree, like, yeah, we should have done things a little bit better kind of stuff. But I feel extremely fortunate to have the parents I do that, like, we, like, even when our interests don't align, we get along very well. I talk to them every week and stuff, and we just chat about stuff. Even though we live far away now. So, we can talk about politics and agree on that, which, thank God, I don't have, parents that got sucked into the Fox News horribleness or anything like that. So, I feel extremely fortunate. Especially when I hear, like, friends describe their family situations. I'm like, holy crap. Oh. So, I am extremely fortunate. Like they encouraged me to do art when I was a little kid. My mom would, take me to art lessons all the time and stuff like that. There was no sense of, like, oh no, you gotta do something serious. Like, they were really encouraging of me and getting invested in art and my interests and stuff like that. So yeah, it made a really big difference. Yeah, it definitely helps to grow up financially secure. My parents, like, once my dad finished school and got a job, they got a little bit more financial security. And, like, they're not rich by any means. They're teachers, so that is not going to, translate to rich in any capacity. But it was better than, like, being a dirt poor graduate student. But yeah. Oh, I'm sorry about that. That sucks. It happens so often too. Because yeah, like, there's no criteria or whatever for being a parent. You just kind of go into it. And I've had that happen with so many friends, where I'm like, oh my goodness, what's wrong with your family? Why are they like this to you? Like, it is a blessing to not get that, because I think that parents being a little bit messed up is more common than not. Oh, teaching is not a part-time job. You got to work so much all the time for teaching. It kind of pays like a part-time job, but it ain't work like a part-time job. You are working so hard. Teaching is hard. Teaching is super hard. Also, when am I taking my stretch break? I think it's soon. Yeah. The few times I've tried to teach art to kids, it was so stressful. I was trying, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm doing this right at all. Like, some of them are bored, some of them are like frustrated and sad because they feel like they should be better and they're not doing it. Some of them are, trying really hard. But some of them are like they're all different, skill levels and interest levels and stuff like that. Oh, ooh, doing that every day. Understandable. That is what my brother did. He is a history teacher. My family can't help it. There's a long line of teachers. My dad's dad was a teacher. Both my parents were teachers. One of my brothers is a teacher. And he married a teacher. It's teachers all the way down. And I got so many friends that are teachers. Toriel being an orphan. Wait, well, how would that factor in? I mean, we don't know anything about Toriel and Asgore's parents, but I don't know. That seems a little unlikely to me. I don't know why. But teaching high school English. Teaching really is something you have to be, like, passionate about. And it can really break your heart, too. Yeah, like having a temper can be really, really not a good way to go about it, because you don't want to scare kids into, behaving either. It's the kind of thing where, like, you have to earn their respect without frightening them. That is really difficult to do. Because if they don't respect you, they're not going to listen to you either. So, like, how do you strike that balance between, like, okay, don't fear me, but you need to respect me and you need to take me seriously? That is not easy to achieve. Certainly every job has, its ups and downs and kind of stuff, but teaching you got to be passionate about because it's so much work and pay is just not great. That is true. We don't know much about Toriel and Asgore's home life. I don't know if we're gonna get much about it, at least in Undertale, just because if they were all boss monsters and they were all basically immortal, based on if they have kids or not, it's gonna get even more complicated. Oh, that's too bad. Not surprising. Not the worst thing in the world. I mean, again, my parents are certainly not perfect, but I still feel fortunate in terms of, like, what I have in comparison to others. Yeah, you gotta be a decent public speaker. Goodness gracious. Oh yeah, if we're talking Deltarune, Asgore and Toriel, that's different from Undertale, Asgore and Toriel, because I don't think that those two are immortal in Deltarune. That's a different thing. Toriel wanted to be a teacher. That was her passion. Even in Undertale, she's like, I wish I was a teacher. Alright, I need to take my stretch break, I think. I don't know, it seems like the Holidays and the Dreamers went to college together. Oh, I'm sorry you got problems with your dad. That sucks. That stinks. Good men are out there, just, man. It's not fun when a good man is, not the one raising you. I was born post-surface bleeding it. Sometimes you just gotta get your writing out, kind of thing like that. Well, I'm definitely more reserved like Azzy. I think probably another reason why my parents had an okay time raising us is because none of us kids were deeply outspoken or loud or cranky or anything like that. We got used to traveling a lot at a young age. Like, my parents, or my mom keeps telling this story about how when we were at Paris, and we went to see Notre Dame, the actual cathedral, she has a picture of all three of us kids just sitting on a bench and we're all drawing drawing the cathedral because we're like, okay, we want to, hang out and just draw the cathedral. So, all three of us were just sitting there real nice. And some of us were really young and stuff too, so we were at the very least easy to raise because we were not rambunctious. We were indoor kids. Keep your weirdo headcanons. Oh, went to college with Rudy and Undertale. Sorry, I missed that. Okay, went to college with Rudy and Undertale. Wait, would they have had college back then? When were universities invented in comparison? And like the Undertale timeline, which is already a mess. Oh no. I don't know if she had a drinking problem, but she was like prone to getting drunk. Also, shoot, I think my, just realized that my little PFP is hopping around a little bit too much. Does he? I gotta go back and reread that. He mentions University and Rudy and Undertale? The thing is, Undertale is not 21X. Basically when Kara falls into the underground is 21X. Actual Undertale takes place like at least 100 years later. So Undertale takes place like in kind of the future compared to Deltarune anyway. And so Asgore himself was there. Oh, maybe he was there as a teacher. That could have worked. First university was in real life was 1066. That sounds about right. Yeah. Well, we'll never know because Undertale is so vague with its timeline. That he was literally visiting the university, not attending it as a student. That can work, yeah. Yeah, exactly. We're never gonna know how the timeline in Undertale works because, like, that's not important. Don't ask about that. It's already pretty fuzzy just in Deltarune, and that's on a much smaller time scale than Undertale is. Because, like, seems like, okay, Des had to have disappeared when she was a teenager because, that's when she and Azrael started hooking up, which you usually do when you're a teenager, but at the same time, I don't know how much younger Noelle is compared to Des, but she looks like a little kid in the spelling bee, so pinning down actual years, I think, is going to be a bit of a losing battle. It's more about the vibes. Alright, I will be right back for one more stretch and stuff. Alrighty, I'm back. Let's do another session. One under event had a trailer for a game on the surface. Huh. So like a pre-human monster war game? See, that would be interesting. That seems like a fun concept. Especially after the 10th anniversary, I'm like, you could do such interesting things now that we know that, it wasn't a completely one-sided war, that there were humans fighting on the monster side. A doodle request? What? Where? I might have missed it because, ER Birdly but Peacock. Let's see what I can do. I gotta look up a peacock. Let's see. Also, man, I wish that Smooth McGroove would do more Eldritchrune songs, please. But I'm sure he just wants to do what he wants to do. Do what you want, because a pirate is free. You've got like big different things on. You got those weird little puffs that peacocks have. He's like, look at my beautiful tail, look at it, look at it, look at it. So for the time I lived in Malibu, some people there would have peacocks for guard dogs, because peacocks will just scream their heads off at you if they don't recognize you and they don't like you. So they were basically like, guard dogs, watchdogs, where if somebody's approaching the property, they will just scream their heads off like a bird alarm. Geese may not necessarily do that. It kind of depends. It's really cute right now. The geese that are in the park nearby, the goslings are out. The goslings are big and growing now. We get to see all the fluffy goslings and the ducklings. It's geese time. I love this time of spring where we can see all the goslings out. See them growing up. It is Canada geese. People are way too mean. They way overestimate Canada geese. Like I will just stroll on by the Canada geese. They don't give a crap. Just don't harass them, and they'll leave you alone. Like people will get up into the Canada geese and like take pictures of their little goslings and stuff. As long as you are not like going for them or like being clearly like intrusive or aggressive, like they don't care. Just don't be a nasty little guy to the geese. Just give them some space. And I understand that sense of like, okay, the geese can be scary because like my brother was bitten by a swan once, so those kinds of birds, they are territorial, but my brother was also getting up in its face and trying to pet it kind of thing, and it was like, no. So, basically, as long as you give them their space and respect their space and don't hassle their babies, they're not going to go after you. At least in my experience with seeing them all over the place at the park. Honestly, when last few times I went to the park, the ducks were the ones getting into big fights instead of the geese. The ducks were having a row at each other. We also had this unfortunate bit where we were walking through the park for, here we go, Peacock Birdly. He's got a very fancy tail. We were walking through the park, and there were all kinds of ducks and geese around. And this one male duck was just absolutely harassing the heck out of a female duck. And then he chased her down and started going at it with her. And we're like, sir, right here with all these children around, sir, have some propriety. I'm not sure what bird strikes are. Pigeons do love them, they're yummies. It's because pigeons used to be domesticated. They hang around humans because we used to like have them as pets. Some people still do. So they've gotten accustomed to hanging around humans. Ducks are famous for screwing every chance they get. Is that what ducks are famous for? I mean, I wouldn't be that surprised. Again, the ducks are always pretty aggressive towards the ladies. The airplane engines, aw. Do Canada geese fly really high? I guess depends on if you're taking off or, you know, landing. I don't know if this is necessarily the bird's fault. They need to learn to stay away from the airplanes. They're bad. Ducks are famous for courtship rituals that lack respect or consent. Yeah, that kind of explains Donald Duck. Alright, then that explains it then. That's why the duck was so randy. What happened to Chris here? You will find out when you read the comic, which will come out at some point. But basically, they got stuck inside the void side of Caddy and Jockington, and it was kind of rough. That is true. Daisy can't keep up with Donald. That's why they're good together. And I guess that's a good point about birds not being able to comprehend how fast a plane is. It's kind of like, okay, animals know, oh, a car is a problem, but you don't know how fast a car is just by looking at it if you're not used to it. They went inside the danger floof. On accident. Caddy kind of fell on them, so they fell inside the danger floof. But they had a rough time with that, but at least now they're out. Do not touch the danger floof. Do not touch it. Caddy's even like, don't touch that. It's bad. Dangers of having a scary cat. They can flop on you and send you into the hell dimension. The hell dimension of a cat is now on top of you. So yes, they are recovering from that. And this was also when like Caddy and Susie got into a fight. They don't like each other. This is also why I want to see, like, Caddy and Jockington in Chapter 5, because I'm like, what beef do Caddy and Susie have with each other so bad? Let's resolve that. Yeah, exactly. It's like Steven Universe's Lion Mane, but instead of, like, the peaceful little, you know, cherry blossom and flowers dimension, it's the hell dimension. The bad Steven Universe Lion Mane. Oh no. Poor geese. They're not doing anything wrong. They're just being animals. Wait, who throws up? Cats, I'm assuming? I mean, they do that. They're cats. I think lizards might be able to do that too, but I've never seen alfies throw anything up, so I don't know. Some animals can't throw things up, and that's actually not good. It's important to be able to throw things up. Related to jealousy over Noelle? It could be. That seems quite likely. She does seem like she might have had a thing for Noelle that Noelle didn't quite reciprocate. Oh yeah, cats definitely throw up. That much I know. They throw up their little hairballs. I don't think horses can throw up. Being able to throw up is an important skill. If you eat something bad accidentally, you gotta get rid of that. Again, if the Canada geese can't calculate, okay, this thing is coming toward me at an unbelievably fast speed, and yeah, they're not going to be able to move out of the way fast enough. Caddy calling her the light, true. Even though Noelle does love her some darkness stuff. Horses don't eat people's jackets. Don't do it. You're not allowed. Yeah, that's my understanding. So I've never seen Alfie's throw up, although she kind of like gagged once, like she was almost going to. I think because I was having to hand feed her some food when she wasn't eating for a bit, and she kind of gagged on it, but she didn't throw up, so she's probably just having some difficulty swallowing it. But right now, you're just kind of hanging out on your hammock, girl. Wait, mice and rats can't throw up rat poisons? Huh. I didn't know that. I still might have that mouse problem, and I left out a trap, and it hasn't touched that trap yet. I don't know if it learned from the last mouse, but it has not touched it. I'm going to tell Alfie's doing something my lizard Alfie's has done. Let me see. What is something that she has done? She did do this once. Like she just grabbed onto a curtain. She's like, I can't let go of the curtain. So I'm just gonna be like this forever. It's very funny the things she will just kind of cling to. I guess I'm in this vertical position now. Forever. I'm like, honey, you can let go. She's like, no, I can't. Everyone asked, darling. Alfie's like, this is normal. Goodness gracious, we've already gotten like 5 new sketches for the new page. It's going, it's going. And Greenie apparently made a soup so bad that it introduced the gag reflex to Remy. But sometimes you don't want to get into the scientifics of can rats actually throw things up, especially since this is a rat that is controlling somebody through his hair. That's how the soul needs to control Chris. We just need to, like, ratatouille them. Chris is like, this is worse. I like how ratatouille has kind of become, like, a verb. Even though it is not that at all. It defies the laws of physics. Which physics is biology is kind of physics? Well, maybe not. Exactly. She's like the moderator between these two who are like not liking each other right now. Because they were in a fight. Chris kind of unintentionally set off. I always forget to draw the other eyes down Caddy's side. Biology is just applied physics. I guess everything is technically applied physics. Agile! Beware of Agile! ferret? I do like ferrets. I've never had a ferret for a pet. Except for physics, which is applied math. Everything else is applied physics, and physics is applied math. There, we've solved it. Yeah, apparently, supposedly, you can get the stinky glands removed from them, although I don't know if that's necessarily healthy to remove their stink glands. I think it's kind of like a related to skunks kind of thing. Gotta have your stink gland. Apparently bearded dragons also have like scenting glands on their hind legs, or at least the males tend to. They can actually get like blocked up like pores and stuff like that. They got to have surfaces to rub against so they can get their scent glands out. But I hadn't noticed that on Alfie's later ever, so that's probably more of a thing for males. All right. Got another page done. On to page 7. Popcorn scented glands. Is that shrews? Or am I thinking of something else? Where's popcorn scented glands? Biology is so fascinating and so gross. It's true. Nature's like, screw your rules. I do whatever the hell I want. Is it alive? Then I've succeeded. Will it keep being alive? Then I've super succeeded. Because in order for things to stay alive, they gotta do gross things all the time. To be a living thing is to be gross. Like, apparently those guys have glands on their crotch. Huh. Like corn pops or whatever? Good grief. Are these not shrews? Are they something else? I gotta make my territory smell like delicious popcorn for reasons. Animals are so weird. That's why we love them. They do weird things. Weird, gross things. I think I've seen those kinds of toads that have that shapely ass because they don't have like much of a tail at all, and they got those big muscly legs to jump with, so they gotta have an ass with it. Plus they're sitting all day. You have to have a good ass for that. If you're gonna sit all day, you need a big ass. Lizards don't really have much of a butt. At least Chris is calming down a little bit after their terrible experience. I gotta recruit Caddy and Jockington. Oh, thank you for following. An important question is that when Garrison died, assuming the death is the night, if Garrison dies before the death disappearance, then Des would know that Garrison's classroom, abandoned card classroom, Garrison dies after Des disappears, then how would Des know that the classroom is abandoned? Well, the thing is, I think that Des being the night fits in with the darkness that we do have in the card kingdom, because those were darkness that Chris and them played with at Chris's house, as well as the abandoned classroom, because we know that those darkners all interacted, because they say so. Honestly, I feel like Chapter 4's darkness were like the first ones where things are, they started to get a little bit weird and abstract, because these weren't necessarily like people that, Chris might have interacted with very much, aside from maybe Jackenstein. It'll be interesting to see what we get for Chapter 5. So basically, whether or not Des knew that that classroom was abandoned, I think she would have at least known that, oh hey, these Darkners that we played with previously are present in this area. Plus a little reconnaissance could, do that. It seems like she's bopping around some light world stuff occasionally. With, tall person can fit in this closet and all that. So many eyes. It's funny. They've got so many eyes. But yeah, Deltarune also has a bit of a fuzzy timeline. Not as bad as Undertale's, because again, Undertale exists across like centuries. But Deltarune's timeline is also kind of vibes based. That's just never seems to have been Toby's priority in terms of world building. Which, that's fine. You can't prioritize everything. It's the Three Stooges. Well, 3.5 Stooges yelling at each other. Yeah, he is pretty fun to draw, though. I will say that. I can't wait until we actually get confirmation of who the knight is so people will stop arguing about it. The problem is that I don't think we're gonna... I kind of wonder about us getting confirmation in Chapter 5. I have my doubts that will happen. Which means get ready for another 1.5 years of knight discourse. That's what I have to say about that. Heck, Night Discourse will probably go on even once we know who the knight is. There will still be something to discourse about. You underestimate the power of the discourse. I will say one of my main beliefs is like, I know people keep going like, oh, we're going to get this Dark World in this chapter and this Dark World in that chapter. I just don't think we're going to be doing recruits really after Chapter 5. I think Chapter 5 is going to be our last time recruiting people. Maybe we'll get, a recruit or two in Chapter 6, but like, not really. We'll have too much other stuff to worry about. Oh no, I forgot her antlers! She's bald! She's bald! Get her antlers on. No. Can't believe I almost have bald Noel, bald L. I have to make dumb memes about it and stuff. If Des was somehow not the knight, then who do you think would be the next best candidate? Oh gosh. That's really hard. I guess Carol. I guess Carol would be the next best one. But like, I feel like the gap between Carol and Des is so big. Oh, bald, my eyes. Okay, just want to make sure her antlers aren't up in the business there. I can avoid doing that. Yeah, I guess Carol's the next best candidate. I would be legit shocked if it was anybody but Des at this point. Anybody but Des feels like just kind of inherently off and wrong in my brain. Feels like we have way more pertinent information now than we did before chapters 3 and 4. Newbert! It's because we all love him. We'll never suspect him. Give my riches to the weak. And give my swooning to the strong. Wah! I'm Newbert. Everybody loves me. That's why I live in the trash. I love the fact that they just introduced Newbert in, like, I think it was an anniversary stream or whatever for chapter 1 of Eldritchrune, and it's like, wait, who is this guy? You know, it's Newbert. Everybody loves him. I'm kind of a weird little guy. Every chapter has its weird little guy. Why did Susie dress especially as a box? Because she couldn't go as a monster. Which I always found to be interesting. Why would you think to dress up as a monster in the first place, Susie? For Halloween. But I guess as a box also because she is poor and could not afford a different costume. Why specifically a box? She's poor. I did have a friend who dressed up as Susie in a box for Halloween once. It was really cute. Like, you can do regular cosplay Susie, or you can do Susie in a box. It's costumeception. Yeah, she was a box because that was all she could afford. She had a box. Especially if she was moving a bunch, probably had a box laying around. She's like, fine, I'm a box for Halloween. Are you happy? If she was raised around humans, they're like, you should go as a monster, Susie. Hee hee hee. She's like, uh-huh. Uh-huh, you're so funny. Susie yells at you for that suggestion. Here's the question though, what did Asriel dress up as for Halloween? I think there's a picture you can look at that has like, oh, here's you guys dressed up for Halloween. And Chris going with little devil horns sounds appropriate. And then Noelle still has her angel wings. What would Asriel go as? He dressed up as Yoshi until he got embarrassed about it. I'm still so sad that he changed his Smash main. And I was like, oh, I know this one. It's Yoshi. No, wrong. Incorrect. Devastating news. And here's another question. What would Des dress up as for Halloween? Yeah, exactly. He's like, alright, I like girls, I like girls, here's my I like girls thing. Dress up as Babe Ruth. Maybe. Baseball player. It's like its own kind of embarrassing. I think if there's anything we can take away from Teenage Asriel, it's that he was embarrassing. This is embarrassing body spray for the boys, pizza flavor. Smell like a stinky boy. Also, I think I need to take my stretch break now. And we'll keep going. Baby Ruth bars. Do those have like almonds or coconut in them? I recall not really liking Baby Ruth, but I don't remember why. Maybe it was nougat? I don't remember. I haven't had that many other candy bars. I think it was okay, if it's peanuts, then I would not have liked it, because I do not like peanuts in my chocolate. That is a no. Also a reason why I won't eat Snickers. I don't like peanuts in chocolate. They're like, what, you don't like Snickers? I'm like, no, take my Snickers. I don't like peanuts. It's my picky eater self coming in again. I like smooth peanut butter, but usually peanuts on their own. Ugh. With a couple small exceptions. It's peanuts. Okay. A better tasting version of Snickers. I feel like there used to be a wider variety of candy bars out there, and now there's not as much anymore. Maybe I'm just not looking in the right places. I gotta go to like a dedicated candy store and we'll get some foreign candy bars. One thing I miss from overseas candy stuff is like in Great Britain they would sell, I'm trying to remember what they were called. They were kind of like Sour Patch Kids, but not. They were like, you know, little colorful gummy people, gummy guys. But instead of being sour, they were pretty sweet. They were larger than normal, and they were covered in powdered sugar, as opposed to sour sugar. They had powdered sugar on them. It might be Jelly Babies, actually. I think it was Jelly Babies, because it's not this. Yeah, maybe it was Jelly Babies. I think that was Jelly Babies. I like Jelly Babies. Those were good. I also always like those like digestives you get in Europe that are like, you know, a butter biscuit on one side and milk chocolate on the other. I mean, maybe I'd be mad if I tried them again, but back when I was in Great Britain for a bit, I loved Jelly Babies. And yeah, I also enjoyed those like biscuit digestives. Oh, I do love jelly beans. I loved Jelly Bellies. You know, who doesn't love Jelly Bellies? With all their, and I will say, because speaking of popcorn, I actually really like the butter popcorn flavor Jelly Bellies. Like, everybody's like, ew, butter popcorn. I'm like, I love those Jelly Bellies. Please give me all your popcorn flavor Jelly Bellies. I mean, the uncoated digestive biscuits are also good, but I do like them with milk chocolate on the side. They're pretty good. I'm trying to remember what other candy stuff there was overseas. Green apples always good. Jelly Bellies. That's true. I like some of the other kind of weirder flavors, like Tutti Frutti. That was kind of neat. Kiwi's very good. Kiwi pretty good. Jelly Bellies. But yeah, I like the popcorn flavor. I was a popcorn fan. Alright, be right back for one more stretch and stuff. turn. Yeah, fruity flavors are good for Jelly Bellies. Okay, so did anyone else okay, I don't remember that. But does anybody else play Bean Boozled? My family did that once. My extended family played Bean Boozled once, and we never did that again after our first playthrough of that, because that was a pretty a dire game to play. Basically, because Jelly Bellies can make like gross flavors too. Maybe it comes with being Swedish, I don't know. But yeah, we played Bean Boozled, and I got pretty fortunate with that game in that I didn't get anything horrible. Like, mostly I either got, the correct good flavor, or like if I got a bad flavor, it was like grass, or pencil shavings, or centipede, and like none of those were bad, really. The centipede one literally just tasted like dirt. It wasn't terrible. Whereas we had other family members that, got skunk, or rotten egg, or vomit, and stuff like that. So, we didn't play Bean Boozled again after people were like, holy crap, super gross flavors, or earwax, or whatever it is. Apparently the vomit flavored bean was a repurposed failed prototype for pizza flavor. Oh no. Something's gone horribly wrong with the pizza Jelly Belly. How do you mess that up? You feel like, okay, you can do cheese, right? You can do cheese and tomato and bread taste. How do you... Maybe it's the cheese that goes wrong with it. I don't know. Actually, do you have any, like... Are there any good cheese-flavored Jelly Bellies? Maybe cheese is not something that's really doable in candy form. Especially, like, pizza cheese. I don't know. That's a weird situation. Is cream cheese? Maybe. Because, yeah, cream cheese is like a little bit closer to like a candy-ish flavor. Like something you would put in a cheesecake. Like, cheesecake seems doable. But just like straight cheese. Maybe something about that just like can't bridge that gap into candy. Maybe it's a texture thing. I don't know. I mean, I'm probably the wrong person to ask. I don't really like cheese. I like cheese on cheese pizza, and that's it. Otherwise, if you have cheese on things, I will at best tolerate it, and at worst be like, no, I don't want that. Even on potatoes with cheese, I'm like, potatoes with cheese on them, I'm just like, okay, I'll tolerate this, but I don't really want the cheese. The rare white person who will not be swayed by cheese. Mozzarella sticks? Yeah, don't like mozzarella sticks. It's the kind of thing where, like, my brother really liked cheese, so he would get, like, those cheese sticks as a snack. And every time I saw him eating those cheese sticks, I'm like, that looks like the grossest thing in the world. I don't want that anywhere near me. Again, I like it on pizza. It's fine on pizza. But just as, like, eating a stick of cheese, ugh. Ugh. Yeah, string cheese. String cheese. But yeah, fried cheese either, like, you know, it's like hot dog on a stick. It's like cheese on a stick. I don't like that either. Not a fan. But yeah, my brother eats string cheese, and I did not like string cheese. Didn't like the way it looked. Didn't like the way it smelled. Ugh. But I'm just weird that way. And like I'll tolerate like shredded cheese on like, you know, Caesar salad, stuff like that, but I still prefer not to have it. Like if I could choose no cheese on Caesar salad, I would. I do. But usually they put it on anyway, so there's no getting around it. And now I miss hot dog on a stick, though. I'm probably not going to have that forever. When will I get a hot dog on a stick again? No idea. Also, man, I'm glad I'm going to my physiotherapist this week because my wrist is feeling a little cranky. Wrist, why? Whenever I try an exercise, you're like, no, you exercise. Now I'm going to be mad about that. And I'm like, I need to weight train. Wrist, please. It's for you. I'm doing this for you. Maybe Ross looks a little silly from this angle, but oh well. Sometimes your demon has a silly face. Sometimes it has a scary face. Ross would be like, don't worry, Chris, I'll be your sleep paralysis demon. You'll sleep well knowing your paralysis is safe with me. Hello, hello, welcome back. We are still working on this part. We're on page 7 out of 9. Just like the Star Wars character that I know nothing about. Not Star Wars, Star Trek. I really know nothing about it. And maybe there's a Star Wars character for that too, but I assume mostly just a Star Trek one. Man, if I had infinite time and all that, I would do a big video essay retrospective on Sequest DSV, which was a show I watched with my family when I was a little kid. And it was basically Steven Spielberg going, I'm going to do Star Trek but underwater. And the first season is very interesting. I think I have it on DVD. But I don't have infinite time. I don't even have time to make the Eldritchrune videos I'd want to make. At least not while also getting art for Eldritchrune done, which I do really want to get done. Tomorrow, for the holiday, I'll probably be working on character roughs for ending pages. I've got to tackle the really difficult scenes of Susie versus the army of Susie snacks. I got to tackle them, even though they intimidate me. And then we'll go over them eventually whenever I get to cleaning those up. Yeah, there we go. Also, I hope this is clear that, like, Jockeyton is excitedly bouncing around, not that he suddenly split into 3 heads or anything like that. He's an excited guy. Put him in my handbag. Carry him around. And get some water. Water, water, water. I did enjoy those new guitar versions of several of the Eldritchrune songs, but I kind of hope they expand it to chapter 3 and 4 music too. So I bet Black Knife would be really cool as a guitar thing. I'll get that banjo out for Hammer of Justice. I need an excuse to get the banjo out. Also, I hope that Lancer will have a little bit more to do in chapter 5. He didn't have much to do in chapter 4. He was mostly at home. Well, the lady from the theme from Ghost Trick, a little bit. This is Lancer's theme. That's why I was thinking about Lancer. Ghost Trick also has such great music. Can't go wrong with Ghost Trick. What do you know the guitar will play in chapter 5? I imagine it has something to do with Death. If we have guitar stuff going on, then that seems to involve Death, because she is the one that we know for certain is associated with the guitar. A bit back and forth here. Maybe we'll finally get more. And also, there's obviously also the shelter code hidden in the guitar. And that's another thing that factors in. Piano cover for Eldritchrune before chapter 3 and 4, I think, and piano play a massive part in chapter 4. Maybe. Again, as I said, guitar seems very important for Death, so we'll probably get some more stuff about that. Susie tried to play the guitar before Carol stopped her. Noelle wanted to hear it. I don't know, maybe there'll be like a little music playing session at the festival. It kind of seems like there's a hint that was going on, where it had like, there's that photo of like Des and Asriel and Noelle and Chris up on stage doing a little rock session kind of thing, doing their band. So if we get a repeat of that, then either Chris or Susie or both could be playing the guitar. And that could be interesting. Susie like play. I'm a little surprised by like people seeming to think that Susie won't go to the festival in chapter 5. I'm like, no, I'm pretty certain that all 3 of the main characters are going to be there, no matter what. And that definitely includes Susie. I am very weirded out by people who are like, no, she's going to bail on the festival. I'm like, no, she's not. She clearly wants to go. She said she would go with Noelle. She was already thinking of asking Noelle to the festival, and then like was kind of like, oh, I don't think I could ask her. She's, out of my league kind of thing. And she already knows she's going to be there with Chris as well. She's like, oh, I'll definitely go to the festival with you, Chris. She wishes that, Ralsei could go and all that. She spent a good deal of time talking about that. Like, oh, I really want Ralsei to be here as well. So she wants to go to the festival. She is not bailing on that. And then I think she moved to actually, taking Noelle to the festival as soon as, her mom butts in and is being cruel. She's like, screw this, I'm going to, fight back and take her to the festival. So yes, Susie is definitely going. Noelle's obviously going. Chris obviously going. We're getting everybody there. The unused Noelle dialogue for favor of equipment and implying that it's just Noelle and Chris? I'm confused. Which Noelle equipment? I mean, if it's weird root stuff, then yeah, that's the weird root. Doesn't mean that Susie's not going to go, though. But which unused flavor text are you talking about? Oh, I thought I was on the wrong layer for a second. Ooh, spooky. Like using this, what is this Saraville? Saraville? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm glad you finished a sketch of your drawing. Do you mean Scar Elixir? Is that what you're talking about? Scar Elixir. So it's like a combination of scarlet, red, and elixir, like an elixir. Okay, that's definitely has nothing to do with the festival. That's kind of weird. It's also not even the only item that's Noelle shares with Chris. She also does that with the Choco Diamond. If you give the Choco Diamond to Noelle, then she'll be like, "Oh, Chris, I can tell you want some too," and she'll pass some on to Chris. So she'll just do that with some of the items you give her. That really doesn't have anything to do with Susie going to the festival or not. Noelle just likes sharing some of her items with Chris because she's sweet. And the Scar Elixir is definitely not a festival specific thing. That is for the church. And I gotta put more antlers on Noelle. Yeah, I did see a fan animation with the Scar Elixir, which was very cute. It was very, very cute. But yeah, that doesn't really have much to do with the festival or not. You can't ignore the Chris puppy eyes. Just not doable. That's the power of puppy. Okay. Put your antlers on, Noelle. We're at Grandma's. Let's see. Oh, we got down there too. A couple of Noelles on this page. Use the little club sandwich. Chris takes 2/3 of it. That is pretty funny. Chris, you're supposed to share. Sometimes Chris can be a sneaky sneak. And antlers. Think that since Noelle doesn't mention Susie, besides the one Noelle favor about the Justice Act, that Susie wouldn't be physically there with Noelle. A bunch of Noelle's flavor text is responding to Susie, though. Like, all the stuff about blood, that is Susie bringing it up first, and then Noelle mentioning it, like, in response to that. So that's just not true. There's definitely a bunch of things where Noelle is talking to Susie or responding to Susie in the unused item flavor text. So, disagree with that. No, she absolutely acknowledges Susie's flavor text there. She does share a lot of stuff with Chris, but yeah, Susie's definitely there. And again, not relevant to the festival. The festival is taking place in the light world. Like, do they think that only a dark world is going to happen in the festival? I mean, I do think there will be a festival dark world, but Susie's going to be there for that too. So I'm not sure how Noelle tends to share her items with Chris means Susie will not be at the dark world or not be at the festival. That those things don't really correlate. Nor does Noelle ignore Susie in flavor text all the time. Give it a play. They just thought it tasted good. I mean, it is like church juice. Supposedly is tasty. They want that sick fruit juice. Sick fruit juice made even sicker with the power of fantasy. Noelle, who is famously so about Susie. Seriously. Who famously does not think that much about what Susie is doing. Okay, I definitely think that is a bad argument for Susie not going to the festival, because there is nothing in the prophecy about if any part of it doesn't come true, then the whole thing will not happen. The part they are concerned about is the ending. And two, if Susie did not want the prophecy to come true and she wanted to make sure it did not come true, then the most surefire way for it to not come true is for her to not go with Chris to the dark world. Because then it will definitely not happen. And since she's not going to do that, she is obviously going to go to the dark world with Chris to continue on with that. Then she's going to go to the festival. Like, it makes no sense for her to be like, well, if I just don't fall in love with somebody, then the prophecy won't come to pass. Like, that's a leap in logic that doesn't actually make any sense. And unless the prophecy literally says, and then the final tragedy is like Susie dies at the festival, then she's gonna go to the festival. Yeah, that was fun from Paper Trail. Like, if she was actually super serious about not having the prophecy come to pass, she would stop participating in the Dark Worlds at all. She's not going to do that. So, that is not how they're planning to stop the prophecy. Yeah, Susie is, one of the destined heroes, and Garrison thinks she's going to be the one to rewrite the story and save everybody, but no, she's going to dip out. She doesn't like this after all. She doesn't want to actually try and change things. Just don't involve her with the plot. Let's be real here. Chalkington going tap, 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 tap on Caddy's head. Susie in Chapter 5, I hate my friends now because of the prophecies. Now I'm staying home 24/7, ignoring the mortal peril that my friends are going through. Uh-huh. That's realistic. Susie, I hope we can continue being friends and each day will be like the last Gaster here. Being like, nah, I'm skipping out on the festival. That's just too dangerous. I'm too busy to go have fun with my friends. The thing I've been desperate to do for my entire life. Alright, I'm glad I'm cracking you up. I mean, maybe emotionally burned out, but at the same time, like, I don't think we're doing the festival first in Chapter 5. I think that's going to come after the Dark World. So if she's up for Dark World stuff first, then she's going to be going to the festival as well. We might go through different emotional arcs by the time we're through Chapter 5's Dark World. But, nah, I just can't take Susie won't go to the festival ideas very seriously. Doesn't work for me. It has been built up too much for any of our main characters to skimp out on it. We're getting all 3 of them, baby! I think things might actually feel pretty different if, you know, you're on the Weir route and, Birdley's not there. He's still in hospital. I think that would be a Chapter 6 thing, not Chapter 5. I think Chapter 5 is going to be our last, like, normal chapter in terms of, like, we go to a Dark World, we have our Dark World adventure, and we recruit people from the Dark World, and then we'll do Light World stuff. I think Chapter 5 is our last chapter for that. And then after that, things are going to get crazy. Alright, how much can I get done in the time I got? We'll see. Yeah, I can see kind of a mesh between Dark World and Light World stuff in the festival happening in Chapter 6, actually. But I think Festival Dark World will be the Dark World of Chapter 6. And that's basically where we'll get all the other people that are on Gaster's list of super friends. Including weird ones like, you know, Caddy and Bratty and QC. Like, them being at the festival, that makes sense. And then that translating into a Dark World also makes sense. I do find it interesting that, like, Carol and Alvin aren't on that list. What the heck are they doing? What the heck are they doing? Not tied to a specific chapter. Yeah. I'm guessing that, he was a bit reluctant to have Light World save points just because, like, there might be some kind of in-universe reason why we're only seeing them in Dark Worlds, but it was just kind of think of like, okay, what's more important, the lore or a, you know, decent player experience? And of those two, you know, a decent player experience is the more important thing, so that's why we got a save points in the Light World. And I think that will actually carry over into Chapter 5 as well, because it's like, okay, if you're going to do them in this chapter, you might as well do them in other chapters as well. So. Yeah, I think maybe, like, if she was physically barred from going, that would be enough to do it, but I just don't think that's gonna happen. And I'll put it this way, like, if Susie is physically barred from going, then I don't think Noelle will go. I don't think she'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, Susie, I'm gonna go, I guess I have to go with Chris. Like, I just don't think Noelle would go if Susie was physically prevented from going. Yeah, because physically barring her would make her just want to go more. Because she's like, screw you, I'm gonna get back and do it. What are you saying? Tobias cares more about stories and narrative experience than lore? I know. Shocking, but true. Noelle gets the sick, hurt, comfort fic of her dream. She's like, yes, finally! I get to do the comfort! Yay! Going nod, 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 nod. Alright, I think after I finish this, that's going to be stopping time, because I'm not sure how much more I can do today. This is a decent place to stop. We've basically got... I'm almost done with the character lines on this one. Maybe when we pick this up again next week, I'll be doing some fills instead, which means we will be going back to previous parts. But that is something I can work on stream. Yes, because this is almost done. I mean, maybe he'll give an in-universe explanation. Maybe not. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get an explanation for it. Just because, like, it might be a thing of, like, okay, if the explanation for them in the Dark World has certain reasoning, then it just wouldn't work for the Light World. It's like, the reason they're in the Light World is because it makes sense for the player's comfort. And that's about it. Sometimes you gotta make compromises like that. And that's fine. But yes, I think we are done for now because it's about noon, time for lunch stuff. And yeah, we got through a good chunk of these clean lines. I think when we get back to this next week, I'll be starting in on fills for them, which will be good. I gotta do the background stuff as well, but I'll do that in my own time. But yes, thank you guys so much for coming to the stream. I appreciate you being here. I was thinking about this, and I actually think that on Friday I might do the Cooking with Kindness demo, because I wanted to play that, and I'm like, oh, that's out. So, I might do that on Friday. And yeah, and then on Sunday we will get back into this some more. I appreciate, yeah, because it looks fun, and I want to play it, so we'll do that next week. That'll be a little bit of a hop in between the next game. It should be fun. Thank you guys so much for coming to the stream. I super appreciate you being here. Thanks, as always, for chatting with me. You always make working on this so much fun. You all are so cool. Thank you for following and for the sketch requests and all that. And yep. I will see you all next time. Alrighty, see you later.